The trailer for Rings of Power Season 2 dropped, and oh boy is it a stinker. I had a whole reaction planned, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to watch it through for the third time and just sit there feeling my brain cells slowly wither and die. My whole thing with this show is I don't so much mind changes. Changes happen. They don't have the rights to the Silmarillion. Or Silmarillion, I should say, before everyone tells me off. But they could have at least written it well. Rings of Power Season 1 was a tremendous failure for Amazon, and to quote Forbes' article, it has caused many problems. They've even cancelled shows to keep this show alive, and at this point I'm pretty sure it would be cheaper for them to end the contract than actually keep this show going. Countless leaks for Season 2 are coming out, and I have some terrible fears that Season 2 is going to be more of the same. And also, one of the rumours is that it's going to be Twilight with elves, so God knows what will happen with that. Inserting Galadriel into a Mary Sue-like role of a feminist power trip, rather than actually exploring the depths of a character. Notably bad dialogue that seems to be written by AI, and lines that are air quotes Tolkien-y, and anyone who uses that phrase needs to be hung, drawn and quartered, don't they? The show has also bred a rabid, unintelligent fanbase of Luddites on the internet, who will scream into the void and insult you and attempt to dox your information. Yet, they will play victim when you call them out. They're the ones being harassed. Representative of the great unwashed of society, I think. And just the idea that you have to join a club that's $15 a month, or become a member of the Tolkien Society. And I was a member of the Tolkien Society until the copyright debacle happened. I watched through the trailer of Season 2 and I was left with a feeling of sadness. I have never been so disappointed in a TV show. In modern audiences, you need to captivate them from more or less the get-go. Your series has to be strong and bright, and this wasn't. It was boring. There was barely any story. It was simplistic yet complicated in places. It screamed of reshoots and ultimately looked extremely cheap, considering it was $1 billion TV show. Where has the money gone? Amazon are already cutting the budget for the next few seasons drastically. But can they make it look any worse? The trailer for House of the Dragons has dropped, and that's a fantastic trailer. House of the Dragon is a fantastic TV show with strong fantasy and strong writing and characterization shot at a fraction of the budget. Rings of Power may have had one of the highest premiere episodes viewing numbers ever, but how many people actually watch to the end? I know people that don't particularly like Tolkien or read the books but know the movies. And instead of a show made with love and respect, it is a show that ultimately represents failure, modernity, and most probably AI writing. So let's get into it. After watching Season 2 trailer that has been ratioed into oblivion, I came out of it just kind of feeling the same. It seemed to be all over the place. And clearly, the leaks are true. And the leaks are... I'm not going to quote them because some of them are unreliable, but, Fellowship of Fans have already thrown a tantrum over the leaks. And, the anti-Semitic fan base that will attack anyone that is remotely Jewish within that thing. The problem is, Season 2 is coming out against House of the Dragon on HBO and Sky in the UK. And that set a stupidly high bar for storytelling, for character development, for production values. Rings of Power should have set the bar for fantasy. And it clearly didn't. Tolkien is the granddaddy of modern fantasy. Evolution of words and evolution of writing, we wouldn't have half of the books we have today if it wasn't for him. Him and Robert E. Howard are fundamentally important and key figures within the world of fantasy. And if you don't handle them correctly, what are you supposed to do? you have a legacy of work which is so big that the high expectations of a $1 billion television show obviously didn't show. Cheap production values, disjointed CGI, costumes that look like they came out of Elf Disco in some cases, gold lame. It didn't work in terms of visuals. And then the Greek explosion and the 3D printed armour that didn't fit actors. Bad editing where swords would disappear and reappear. Easy mistakes to fix in post, but still, why were they there in the first place? The lingering effect of Season 1 clearly shows. The storyline was barely a thing, it was stretched extremely paper thin, it was slow and disjointed. I doubt Season 2 will address these issues at this point. Good characterization and good writing are fundamentally important, and clearly this show doesn't have that. Let's be real. They are going to cover some major key and pinnacle events from Tolkien's lore, the fall of Numenor, and that needs to be done in such a way. There is nothing written that even suggests Galadriel came to Numenor, but making her the central character of this show was a huge mistake. An unlikable actress that many of the incels in the fanbase fawn over, and an unlikable Hellbrand who many of the legbeards in this fanbase fawn over too. I don't get the big appeal over him. He just looks like the milkman's son. Let's be honest. He's meant to be beautiful. He's not beautiful. He has hydrocephalus. I'm joking, by the way, but he does kind of look like that. The eyes are too far apart. It's a huge amount of story and weight to this world, to this story. And the fan base is already divided. Purists criticise the deviations from the source material, while others forgive creative liberties. I'm somewhere in the middle. I can forgive creative liberties as long as it's handled well. Sometimes you need, and let's be honest, sometimes you need to make changes. Telling a story from a book to the screen are massively different things. If I'd made The Rings of Power, I would have done something more episodic. Less episodes, more episodic, moving through different key points in the Second Age and tying them all together with a narrative thread. That actually probably would have worked a lot better. Instead, it was unbalanced. The timeline compression makes no sense, and you have two characters alive simultaneously that shouldn't be, because one is meant to be the reborn version of the other. And let's be real, if Season 2 continues to make controversial changes, it risks alienating even more people from its core audience. There are people that will defend this show with their lives as if their lives depended on it, and if you don't like this show, you are labelled an istophobe, and words are thrown at you like there's no tomorrow, and they're fundamentally not true. I know plenty of people who are not particularly into reading Lord of the Rings, but didn't enjoy this series. Normies did not enjoy this series. I will say this, to avoid flopping, it needs to learn mistakes of its predecessors. It needs to learn from those mistakes, streamline its narrative, and deliver high expectations set by enormous budget and beloved source material. If it cannot meet these challenges, the series may struggle to maintain its place in the competitive landscape of modern fantasy television, and that is a very true statement. It's already struggling. The show was a tremendous flop for Amazon despite the first 2 episodes, because everyone brings that up, so I do feel like I have to mention it. The show was poorly written and poorly executed, and it's developed a fan base of these raving animals. Inhuman animals who trawl the internet looking to be offended and attacked. People who have no clue what they're talking about, and more happy that it has diversity representation, they can look at things through a queer lens that clearly isn't there. This show represents failure for Amazon, and if insiders are right, Bezos was angry. And the irony to the fanbase here is that let's be real, the fan base not that long ago was saying how evil Amazon is, why you shouldn't use it, and if you use it, you're evil. Quite literally. But now, for not liking an Amazon production, look into the workings of Amazon and you'll see what I mean. These people are bizarre. And clearly, there is something clearly missing with many of them. They're either dropped on the head as a baby or who knows. And there is a difference between being a fan and a shill. I know someone who absolutely... I know two people, one on the internet and one in real life, who love this show. But even they say the criticism is fair. They enjoy it because of the spectacle, not much else. The irony to the trailer being ratioed to the level that it has been just really goes to show what's next for this mess. What is next for this show? And what is next in The Thing? The fanbase were cheering on that it's been renewed for season 3, although there was no renewal. It literally, to stop making the show, they have to pay to stop making it. This show is a tremendous failure in terms of writing, in terms of production, in terms of many other things, and having episodes directed by women will not change that. At the end of the day, this show is a feminist power fantasy, a clear self-insert from one of the people involved, and ultimately stripping the Tolkien out of Tolkien. They found the source material problematic, and therefore they didn't really want to use it. When people chime in and say, well, they don't have the rights to this book, they're doing the best they can, that's not good. Or the people that say that you shouldn't criticise anything because people worked hard on it. Go away. You have the right to criticise media you consume. The fan base has spoken on this show, and some purists don't even like the Peter Jackson movies. But clearly, at least they were made with love, and say what you want about The Hobbit, at least it had good casting and it was fun. This show seems to be devoid of that. Season 2 faces massive challenges, and I don't think it's going to get any better for them. A show that was meant to take on the might of Game of Thrones, become a cultural phenomenon, with no merchandising. Work that one out. Not even a Funko Pop. Yet I can get Lord of the Rings Funko Pops by the truckload. It really does show that even Amazon, I don't think, have much faith in this product. And when you have its fan base, when you have the controversy surrounding it, and a lot of people I know are put off by the fans. Oh, I don't want to watch that show. I've seen what the fans are like on Twitter. There's clearly a problem here. Production has been very messy from the get-go, and the rumours that two of the main actors within the show don't particularly like each other is also very telling, to the point they've been kept very separate for any promotion and material. This show should not exist, and Season 2 is a prime example of not existing. No one wants this. It's 30-something% of its audience that finished watching it want it, yes. But at the end of the day, under normal circumstances, this show would have been cancelled a long time ago. But, let's be real. The trailer depicted some scenes and some familiar locations, yet seemed to be devoid of anything interesting. It didn't have anything to say. And yes, it was only a teaser. But why can it not just be an enjoyable fantasy show? Because it's not. I was so excited about this show. You can go back into my videos and find me being excited about it when the news first dropped. And then the leaks happened. Then the alleged reshoots happened. And now the bot army is out in full. This TV show represents failure. And when it's competing against gold standards such as The House of the Dragon, let's be real. What are we supposed to do? I'd rather watch a good show with good writing and good characters than some Frankenstein's monster fanfiction that lacks narrative flow or remotely anything fun about it, let alone the one-dimensional flat characters. wearing my great-grandmother's curtains. But that being said, we'll see what happens next. Let's be real. I don't see much of a future for this show, and now it's descending to cosmic meme territory. The lolcows of the internet, the lolcow of Amazon, the lolcow of modern television. So, tell me what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.